Walmart is the only store that still carries the box layer gun, and the price is very reasonable, $13.43, and this is in the lawn and garden area of the store, where all the insecticides and weed killers are. But here they are, so I'm going to get a few for gifts and for myself, and then modify them a little bit to make them better. Box layer for salt, and if you fill them with salt, you can shoot up to 200 times. I'm going to do a couple of modifications. First will be to put a screw with the safety, because that's pretty annoying. You have to click the safety every single time after every single shot. And I'm also planning to put a laser sight right under the outlet of the barrel here. So these will be the modifications. I'm going to open it up and see what's going on inside. Salt blaster is held by 16 screws. They seem to be all the same length, same size, so I put them in a plastic bag. And one of the more interesting parts is the salt dispenser. And I just want to show you, and maybe I'll manage to make a little close-up to show you how that works. There's like a ball valve. You can see it right now. It will accept salt, and then as soon as you pull the trigger, the valve will change position 90 degrees, and then the amount of salt that stays inside this ball, the opening in the ball, will shoot through this little plastic barrel. So here's the close-up, and then as you pull the trigger, the ball will change its position, and the salt that's hiding in the opening will be the amount that will be extracted from this barrel right here. The problem is that these are very hard to aim, so this is the reason I thought about putting a laser beam right under the barrel. I just drilled a hole right below the output, and what I'm going to do, I connected it to a lithium battery, the endings, and then I pointed it to the wall to see, like in the perfect center of this opening, to see the red spot. So I think it is lined up now, and I'm going to pour some of the hot melt glue to fix it in place so it doesn't move. I have poured out some hot melt glue inside, and this is still warm. But what I'm going to do is wait a little bit, cool it off, and then put it together and see how accurate the sight, the laser sight, will be. I'm also going to use there is the hand, here we go, this part has a lot of empty space, so there'll be, I'm going to put lithium battery inside, and either a switch, or I might actually use put a little magnet and use a reed switch in this area, so when you pull it, the magnet will turn on the switch, and the switch will turn on the LED. I'm going to disable the safety, and I will do it by putting a little screw in here. You can glue it together, or you can remove the whole thing from here, from the inside. However, if I decide that I need it later on, or there are small kids that the safety will be practical to have, I can just remove the screw and everything will be as original. So I will just drill a small hole and put a screw into the plastic to keep the safety unlocked. This is the safety with a little screw that holds it in a unlocked position all the time. If I need the safety back, I'll just remove the screw. I've got this tiny neodymium magnet. I'm going to place it right here in the crevice with hot melt glue, and when I pull the lever, this should turn on the laser by triggering the reed switch. I'm going to place the reed switch right here in a moment on this side where it would be a suitable position. However, I think this is a perfect little spot. I'll pour a drop of hot melt glue and then place the magnet in it so it should stay securely. I just mounted the magnet right here. However, this is not going to be able to trigger the reed switch, which is this little device, because that reed switch will be mounted in the bottom here, and the distance is a little bit too great for this magnet to turn on the switch. So I removed the couple of levers from here, and I'm going to mount the magnet on this side. There's another indentation on the inside, and this magnet should be fine to interact with that reed switch right here. So right now I'm going to pull the magnet out and get another drop of hot melt glue and put it on the other side. Here's the little magnet affixed on the inside of the red lever, and I'm going to test it with the reed switch. The magnet has been placed on the other side, on the inside here, and in this little groove in the green plastic, I'm going to place the reed switch. And when you pull that lever, it will approach the reed switch and turn on the light. That's the whole idea. I have mounted the reed switch right here with a drop of contact cement glue, and the magnet is on the other side of the trigger part, and I have connected the meter to show how it works. So as soon as I bring the magnet closer, it will, when I pull the trigger a little bit, it will turn it on. When I release the trigger, it turns it off. So this is going to operate the laser beam. I decided to put a charging board in the hand of the salt blaster. There's plenty of space inside, and the only thing I had to change was one of the resistors. Lowered it so to lower the current, so I had to put a larger 10 kilo ohm resistors. And in the description of this video, I will link another video to explain how you lower the current, the charging current in the charging board. Now I had made USB-C charging port in the hand right here, and what I did was use hot melt glue to put the board in place. It seems to be very solid. I don't think it's gonna move because of plugging the charger in and out. I think it should be fine. I also, because the LEDs are here, I thought about putting extra LED and putting it outside. However, I thought to make it simple, I just drill a hole so the LEDs will be visible for charging from the outside. I mounted a tiny lithium battery. This is 200 milliamp hours. That should be sufficient for the LED, laser LED. And that's inside the hand, inside the handle. So I'm going to put everything back together and give it a test, see how it works. These are the finishing touches now. And I ran the cable from the laser right here in front through here. I put a couple of drops of hot melt glue. I made a hole through here in the plastic, another hole through here down there, and this is coming through here. Now this is the reed switch, which will be turning it on when I pull this trigger. I'm going to put it all back and make the final connections in the hand, in the handle. All the screws are on one side, and I have put every screw back in place except for the handle. So the handle is going to go last. Now there is one screw hiding right under the white pull back part. You can see it's right there. So don't forget there is a screw under the white plastic part. And everything is screwed. I just tested, it shoots fine. And what I'm going to do is make connection with the cables. I got 4 cables, so there's 2 cables from the reed switch right here, and 2 from a positive and negative from the LED right here in front. And I kind of don't expect this to be super accurate because I put some blob of hot melted glue. However, we'll see, and if it's not accurate, I'll try to devise some method to adjust it a little bit. But I'm hoping for the best. I have finished the connections in the hand and the handle, and then when I move the trigger a little bit, I can see the laser working just fine. So when the trigger is moved a little bit, the LED comes on and the laser works. The project is finished. I've got the charging port in the bottom, and when I press ever slightly the trigger, I've got the point, red spot. Now I'm going to test it now for accuracy. So the distance that I want to use it is about a couple of feet, no longer than about 60 centimeters or 2 feet. And I'll see how much this will be off. All I need to do is fill it up with salt, which I'm going to do in a moment, and then try to shoot. I made a mark with Sharpie. This is to represent a fly, and I'll see if I can when I aim the toy precisely at this spot, we'll see how much of the target the salt will spread. I couldn't shoot and film at the same time, but this is the spread of the grains of salt from the distance of about 2 feet. I'll try to make another one with from a shorter distance and see how accurate that will be. This is not bad, actually. This is quite surprisingly accurate. We'll see about 1 foot distance how accurate this will be. I'll try to hold my phone at this point and film it while shooting. The distance now is about 1 foot, and we'll see what happens. It's about 30 centimeters. So I'm going to shoot the same spot. I'm very pleased with the effect. So actually it came out, this is the laser sight, and actually it came out really, really well. See, when I press the trigger, it will come on. And I'm very pleased with the result. So I don't have to worry about aiming the toy, the Salt Blaster box layer thing at anything. I think it works perfect. It worked. Well, thank you for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I think it came out perfect. There's a tiny lithium inside. There is a charging port. But overall, I'm very, very pleased with that. So this is it. Well, thank you for watching, and don't forget to give it a thumbs up.